Good afternoon, beautiful souls. My name is the Soul Leader. Um, I have been sent to begin these videos, and this is my very first video, so excuse me if I'm nervous. And I'm on a device I don't want to be on because my phone is charging and my computer is being worked on. Well, it's going to be worked on. Um, But enough with that. I was sent by the Lord to deliver a message. But first, let me say that it is not easy for me to give this message because I was fighting it for so long. And I've been knew that I was called to do this, but I was in denial. I wasn't trying to hear it. Um, you know, um, it's not really like I picked this. The Lord chose me, and I have no choice but to listen, and not because he's telling me to listen. It's more so I care more about humanity and other people than just me having nice things or um, what I'm just doing in life. I really care about all of your souls, and I really care about those who really don't have an understanding what it means to either like be chosen or what it really means to chase God, because you listen to the leaders in the church and these people, and you look at their titles and you idolize them, and you forget that they're vessels. They're just a messenger, just like I'm just a messenger. Like anybody can give you a message, and you just listen to the message. Don't look at what they're doing or who they with, because at the end of the day we all sin, and I'm not perfect. I'm just ecstatic that the Lord chose me to deliver this message. I'm forever grateful for Him delivering me. I'm forever grateful for Him guarding my mind and listening to my prayers. I've been praying to God my entire life. I hid my spiritual side from so many people. I hid my gifts and who I really am from so many people because of how people made me feel. And I don't like what I had to endure, but I had to endure that so that I can pour into you guys, because pouring into you guys helped me pour into myself. I have been really afraid to open up and get on camera thinking about how I look and what I've been through, or just thinking about um, what other people think. And I'm at the point in my life I don't care what nobody think. I embrace all my flaws. I feel like anybody that come around me, you better accept me or keep it moving, because I'm a warrior. I've always been a warrior. Anybody who say anything, anybody I don't even talk to now, they still can't. No matter what they say, they cannot deny my essence. They cannot deny the love I poured into them or anything, and I no longer care to even speak on that. But I will be posting these videos letting you know how my journey has been, the time I have spent here on earth, what I've learned, and what I've recently went through that has gave me the nudge to not be afraid. So with further ado, I want to put out there just like this. Anything I say is just a message for you. Take it what you can and leave the rest. This page is strictly positive. I will ignore anybody sending me negative energy, um, anything negative. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't comment. Just keep moving. But even if you do comment, I pray that the Lord still bless you. I pray that the Lord remove those holes, those strongholds in your heart. I remove that the Lord remove any hate in your heart. And I'm saying this now before anybody begins, because I know how people think. A lot of you don't even know that you're not even thinking for yourself. You're being controlled. So I'm just letting you know, because I don't play with nobody. I'm just here to deliver a message. That is my duty, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm making it clear, and I'm sending you good love, but I'm letting you know that I'm a warrior, and I'm going to get my messages out for the Lord. Okay? So today I prayed to God. I asked Lord to show me what Bible verse to read for today, because I'm not one of those people that like read the Bible from front to back. I've tried to do that many a times, And I felt doing it that way instead of coming to God and letting God give me the messages I need for me, for myself, so that I can pour into someone else. Um, that's what I do. I go to him first. I don't just decide and be like, oh, I'm gonna read this or read this just because somebody else saying read something. I'm not going to do that with you guys. I'm not going to be like, oh, go read this. I'm just going to share a verse that I read for myself or something. And if you choose to go back and look at those verses or those chapters, and if it resonated with you or whatever, cool. I know I've done my job. But if it doesn't resonate, I think that maybe the message isn't for you, or even it is for you, but your heart is too closed. To deal with me on this channel, you got to open with this, because this is all I come with. This is all I rely on, and I allow myself to feel all of my feelings, whether they good, bad, or ugly. I have no problem with facing myself. So I went to God today, and he told me to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Not yeah, no, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. It was Ecclesiastes. Let me go to my notes because I'm in the book, but I need to go off the notes and what the Lord was telling me. So basically, I'm only going to be speaking on my experiences, things I experienced and overcome. I will not be speaking on things that I'm still healing from, because yes, I'm still healing from a lot. But at the same time, the things that I have overcome, that's what I'm going to be pouring into you to teach you how to face yourself. Okay. So the Lord took me to Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and chapter 3, the entire chapters. And he asked me, what did I learn? And this particular story is about my recent, what I went in my recent. I know he said talk from the beginning. Yesterday he kept saying talk from the beginning, but today he's like, no, talk about this. What did I learn? Recently I went through something very traumatic that my old self had to die. I had to die because I seen myself dying in another person, and I'm not going to talk about them because I cannot talk about somebody else's sin. I can only talk about mine. And nor do I want to put them in a bad light, because there's nothing wrong with still loving somebody, even if they have hurt you. You still can love them, and even if you do still love them, don't be afraid to admit it. If you do, you do. That's just you being godly, you being who you are. So I don't deny that I still love that person. You know, I don't ever stop loving people whether they did me wrong or not. It's just I'm just left with memories. It's either I hold on to them, which I only hold on to the good ones, but for the bad ones, even though you cannot forget what people do, I don't forget how they made me feel, even though I may not remember every single thing they've done. But most things I do, because I'm like an elephant, and I love elephants. But anyway, the Lord asked me, what did I learn? I don't even want to say these words, but he's saying, say it. I learned that my partner was jealous, greedy, envious, and chose not to grow and develop. And I've been saw it a long time ago, but I was in denial. That's why I was in that place, that dark place, for so long, for so many years. But the Lord told me I was going to stay in that darkness until I accept things for what they are and stop trying to control every situation. Because my control issues came from my childhood, not being able to be in control. So when I had my chances to be in control of things, I try to control things when they're going the opposite of what I want. And I gave up control. I just gave it up to God. I'm like, look, I can't do this no more, because it's killing me. It's killing me. I'm dying. I'm not who I was. But he said you can't ever be that person, because even though that person is dying, that person still wasn't operating in their highest self. Even though I still had the same heart, my actions and my choices and the people I was choosing to be around, a lot of them I chose not to be around, but then there was the ones who I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to be around. So that's when came into play me not having enough discernment as I should have for me to be so intuitive. So, you know, I am in my transitional phase, and it's not easy. I will tell you, it is not easy. I admit, but I'm still persevering because that's naturally me. I don't give up. I don't give up on what the Lord tells me. The Lord told me a long time what was mine. The Lord Ben gave me visions a long time ago, even as a child, even to some of the things that developed in my life. I saw that before it happened. So, um, but what else did he tell me? He told me that me and that person both noticed that our connection was spiritual, right? It really is. There's no denying that. But recognize what type of spiritual relationship it was the difficult part. Um, I chose to embrace what I was feeling because I always operate from my heart. I love people. I love I love lessons. Even when it's hard, I just love the beauty that comes out of it. Um, but I was with somebody who wasn't as emotionally intelligent as I am. I was with somebody who chose the opposite way to go when people hurt them. So I'm very empathetic for um, how they may be feeling right now. But I chose the right thing more than to care about how we both are feeling. Um, also, that person wasn't being their real self, just, um, it was one-sided. It was very one-sided. And it wasn't that way at first. That's why how I know what I'm talking about. And because the whole time, like the Lord been with me the whole time doing it. It inflicted a lot of pain inside of me because it took me years to really realize. I think I was about 28 when I just had this epiphany. Like, it was January 1st and I was 28. What year was that? What year is we in? Oh my gosh. I was 28 in 2017. Yeah. Was it 2017? Damn, that much time went by. I'm thinking it was like just 2 years ago. No, dang, oh my gosh. See? But like that's a man-made thing. So that's why it feels to me like, oh my goodness. But that's why pain always feels just like yesterday because time is an illusion. But anyway, it inflicted a lot of pain to me and it opened up a lot of childhood wounds. It made me really face myself and realize like what I subconsciously never dealt with. Um, and it hurt so bad I cried many a nights. Like I have cried like right and they wouldn't even know when I'm right there. And it wasn't just from what was going on in that, because to me what was going on in the relationship is like a little smaller than what my real issue was. My real issue of wanting to be nurtured, wanting to be loved, and I was chasing what I already am. I didn't know. I had to remember who I am. I forgot. And like when I started to remember who I am, I made a decision to do what I had to do to get out of what I was in, because what I was in, Ben was gone. My mind, Ben was gone from it. But I couldn't stop this. I couldn't like really see clearly for some reason. It was a stronghold on me until got this epiphany. Something was like, oh, you got to go. And over the years, I've always been a writer. I always would write down my thoughts, what I was happy, mad, say it didn't matter. And I would do that because sometimes I find it hard to talk to people because everybody's not like me. I'm not the average person. And I've always known it all my life, and I'm open to being real about that. I'm really not. Like, I'm not that person that you can just do anything to, or just I don't just go for anything. Like, I'm so straight up. Nor do I even care to explain that. Prove that. You'll feel me out as you see my videos and feel my energy. I'm not going to describe who I am. I'll let you guys figure that out for yourself. But back to the story. I jotted down notes. And I still loved, even though I wasn't treated fairly. And this is with every single person ever in my past life. And it starts with the parents, the family, the friends, the people I ever worked with. Like everywhere I go, is I still love people even when they did me dirty. Because I don't have hate in my heart, nor do I seek vindication. Because I learned even in my childhood, when people would do things to me, and if I retaliate, oh, karma would get me too. And it wasn't pretty, and I didn't like that. So what I would do is, even no matter how mad and how pissed I was with what somebody done to me, I just remove myself. And then also, I was always allowed to see my enemies be my footstool. Like, it has been a particular situation where I remember somebody that could have possibly been my friend. We could have been friends, but like I said, jealousy is a mother. I'm telling you. Instead of just getting to know me and be my friend, you had to try to start stuff with me because you feel like I'm taking all your friends. Listen, I'm a beautiful person inside and out. So whether you're a good or bad person, you're going to flock to me regardless. And I guess that made that person feel some type of way, and instead of speaking at peace. But mind you, we were children. Everybody don't be in tune with this. I was a little too in tune with myself then. I was like 11, 12 years old, like knowing too damn much. I couldn't understand it, but I embraced it so much. I learned to embrace that about myself. You know, being 10 years old and got people 40 and 50 years old asking me, who are you? You an old soul. You know, even down to my name, to my birth, everything aligns with me, who I am. I know who I am. You can't take that from me. But let me get back to the point. All right. So with reaping karma, the thing is, there's good and there's bad karma. Even though I was enduring all of that, judgment has to come into play when it comes down to God. God sees all. You don't get away with what you do to people. You don't. Like, it don't matter if it seemed like the person getting away. The God ain't gonna allow you to see that all the time. You gonna see it. You gonna see it from afar though. You know, I don't get glory in watching people hurt and stuff. But like reaping karma, because even though I'm talking about a relationship, I'm still talking about that story that with that little girl. And over time we beefed a lot, even through becoming teenagers. And it just came, the last straw came this particular time when she came over being disrespectful, and I just snapped. And we almost fought, but I didn't never put my hands on her. Trust me, I didn't. She did something that she shouldn't have done. You listen, when you do stuff to be people, you better walk it like you talk it. You cannot be barking and not bite. You feel me? You cannot be the person with your little wickedness, doing wickedness against good people. But then when the good people give you a dose of your own medicine, you run. Because this is the same thing that happened. I've seen these patterns so much. That's why I was able to recognize what I was doing wrong. I was able to stop pointing fingers at these people and blaming them. They don't know what the hell they doing. And the ones that do know what the hell they doing, I still don't blame them. I still forgive them. I still blame me for even being a part, allowing myself and bringing myself down to their levels. So anyway, the girl, whatever she said, I hopped up off the fence from where I was at, because it was me, one of my best friends at the time. I still call her my sister even though we don't talk. And I know it ain't nothing personal, but you know, a season is a season. But at least when we still see each other, it's no love lost. It's like, hey, hi, we may not. It's just because we all in different seasons, so it's no love lost. But anyway, it was a guy that was my first. I admit, he was there, and there was a couple other people. I think like 2 other people. So it was about 5, 6 of us right there. She come over there because she's by herself. She don't see nobody that really deal with her. So we're all already quiet because I instantly felt the negativity coming towards me. So that I was already on guard. So my eyes was locked on it because I don't like you, my homegirl don't like you, so what are you over here for? And is it for these guys? I already knew it. I recognize that. I recognize those little hot little females want to come around because they assuming you doing, but we were just all just talking, and me and that person mutually did like each other. So, but it was nothing going on. It was just regular conversations, and you come trying to interfere. I guess she came over hoping that one of the guys would make a pass at her, but listen, when you try to force something, we already know what happens when you force things. So she came over and did whatever she did. She gave that energy and I matched it. But I no longer do those type of things. I don't feed into that. I matched it at that day. And I started coming behind and she turned around, put her hands up like, come on, come on. I felt her fear. But I enjoyed feeling her fear because I'm like, you doing all of this, but you so damn scared of me. And I don't attack people that are scared of me. Once I already feel your fear, I back away because I get nothing from it. It's nothing to gain knowing that because you shouldn't fear me. I'm still a human in the human body just like you. You shouldn't fear anybody but God. So I jumped back at her. I just bucked at her real hard, and she almost fell over the fence, and I seen that. So everybody just looking, they come between us trying to stop it. I don't know what she did, went and told her mother, because she was over there saying stuff about my mother too. My mother was an addict, and I'm very protective of my mom, regardless of what I went through with my mom. My mom didn't deserve that, because my mom had nothing to do with what you felt about me, and then you was trying to hurt me, and the enemy used you to get to me, and I fell for it. But I knew how to get to you by calling your mother a hoe. Because I wasn't lying, and it was the truth, but I still shouldn't have said it. I only called her mother that because I knew that deep dark in her mind, she either thought something about her own mother, and I felt it. So I said it. And I don't like being that way with people. You get what I'm saying? Like, because if I already sense and know what bothers you, I know how to get in your mind too. But I don't get pleasure in being manipulative. I don't get pleasure in trying to hurt people. So anyway, off of that story, the situation got real ugly to the point whatever she said to her mother, because her aunt lived next door to me and her mother lived across from me, and she came out there, her mother, and got in my face. I don't know why her mother and them act like I was older just because older guys was around us. Yeah, that's another story, which we shouldn't even been around them people either, but nobody was doing anything. I just couldn't help that a lot of people I knew was older than me, and I gravitated more to older people because of how I feel in my heart, and because I am an old soul. So my mother got in my face, telling me what she gonna do to me. And one thing my mother did teach me, which I'm proud that she taught me to stand up for myself, only because she never stood up for herself. My mother stood up for herself for the wrong stuff, but at least that fighter in me, that warrior that I had from God in me, she came to me telling me what she was going to do. And I let her know, like, look, I was the type of child, like, look, if you were an adult, I'm still a child. Respect me. Respect me. I deserve respect too. Regardless, if me and your child beefing, you're supposed to diffuse that. Just because you feel like your child ain't above me, your child ain't above nobody. Nobody's above nobody. So don't act like your child has more worth than I do just because me and your child get into it. Why are you assuming that I'm bothering your child? You don't see me walking around the neighborhood bothering people. You see people happy and enjoying my company. But your child couldn't embrace the company she could have kept because she was jealous of me. You put that in her, obviously. So anyway, so the guy at the time, he was an older guy around her age. He just happened to be right there, and he jumped in there and put her in her place. Like, that's a young girl. You need to get out her face, leaning on the girl mother. She wasn't trying to hear that because her mother was a young mother. She had her young. See, I was born from an older female. My mother ain't had me young. My mother was 29 when she had me, and 2 weeks later turned 28, and 2 weeks later turned 39. So she was already a little back while their mothers was teenagers giving birth to them. So that plays a lot of role in how people react to. I was raised by older people. My family are older. Now, I don't really have many young people that had young babies. Now, a few people did, but most people had children at decent ages. But anyway, the girl had, it just got so bad. And my mother, I was beating on the door that night. My mother didn't answer the door. She was in the house getting high. So she didn't even know what was going on with me. But when she caught wind of it, I guess when she snapped out of her trance, she came outside and she told the lady to her face, if my child ever doing something, you come to me, don't get in her face. And she said, okay. But what made it worse was they told their little sister who was closer in age to us, but she was still grown. And this particular day, my mother wouldn't let me go outside because they kept talking about getting me and whatever. People always talk about getting me, but they never get to me. They went after my friend though, but my friend whipped her and her homegirl tail. That's what they get. But she was protecting me, and I appreciate that, and I always thank her for that, you know. But I wish my mom, but my mom kept me in the house. I mean, that was really the Lord though, because the Lord didn't want them to touch me. And nor was I scared. It was just that the Lord, whatever He was telling my mother made me stay in the house, and I was more fearful of my mother, so I did as she said. But I still came outside the next day, and they say me ain't do nothing. They ain't do nothing, but they went after my homegirl, and the situation spiraled all out of a little girl being jealous of another little girl. That's all, and it got ugly. It got to the point where my mother, we ain't had no phone. I don't know, my mother would do something dumb like that in the hood. You don't go calling the police on people not unless you're ready to fight. She went and called the police, and they found out about it, and because the police came to their sister house next door, and they say my mother going to the store to do that, they banked her. And I was a kid. It was 12. It was nothing I could do, and I had to protect my baby sister because she was only like 5 or 6 at the time. So I went downstairs to my neighbor's house, and I was trying to call family. I couldn't find anybody. And you know, I was just so heartbroken for her, and I was so hurt because my mother at the time was so strung out. She wasn't her normal size. Like, my mom got big breasts. She had no breasts. That's how small she was. And I'm like, why is they doing that? Like, what the hell? But they never touched me. So, yes, I mean, every time they would see me and stuff before I moved, you know, they roll their little eyes and stuff, but that's it. But they ain't come for me because I already made it known. I already let the adults know, you touch me, you won't get your ass whipped. Excuse my language, but that's how I felt, and that's what I said because they was cussing at me. I was protecting myself, but they never came for me. Like, I don't know what I was saying to them, but nobody never wanted to fight me. They went after others, which they shouldn't have done, because usually my friends who, you know, usually when you with me, you would like me, and I was like the people I was with at the time. So, like, if I would fight and mess you up, what you think my friends was going to do? So that situation with coinciding that with what's going on with my partner is karma. You don't get to do things to people. If you put out good karma, you get good karma. You put out bad karma, you get bad karma. You know? So years later, I'm an older teenager, and the lady, the one who used to live next door to me, the aunt, her lungs collapsed. I'm telling you, I have watched people who really did stuff to me, how they suffer, and I don't really like to watch that. I don't get pleasure in seeing people be hurt and be down in their life, but her lungs had collapsed. And I remember the girl one day I was in there, her aunt asked me to do her hair, and I ain't say no. I don't know, that's just me. I didn't say no. And I did the woman's hair. I'm sorry, my son cried. I gotta pick him up. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay. So, music stop. Mess up my video. So anyway, the girl, I did her hair, and the girl who had beef with me back then, she was right there. And when she came out her own house from in the back, I guess she was in her bedroom or something. She looked up and seen me look like she seen a ghost, and you should have seen her face.